training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners.
Team, welcome to Training Partners, where two fitness professionals bring you strong takes held loosely. I'm Weezy Shoemaker, joined as always by Justin McClintock. And today is my 13th wedding anniversary.
That's true. Congratulations. Happy
Thank
anniversary.
you. We've done it. We did it.
We did it.
We did
All
it.
13. Now you can move
All
on.
13. Yeah. The joke that my dad used to make, which I recognized in adulthood as being not funny, is they'd celebrate an anniversary and it'd be like 22 years. And he'd be like, 15 wonderful years.
That is some 80s stand-up right there.
Peak dad humor.
You know what I hate? Women!
Crushing. So I told you that I have a story to tell you. And I do, in
you have
fact,
a story about a nightgown.
I do. I have a story about a nightgown to tell you. So I went shopping. I went shopping this weekend.
Sure.
And like to get like truly like a haberdashery of stuff. Like some of my plants have outgrown their current pots, and so I'm going to repot them. And so I needed some larger pots to do that. And some snacks for the gym, some snacks for at home. I wanted to get a birthday present for Walter, like just like a bunch of stuff.
Just chores, errands.
And something that I've noticed is that as my body has changed and I'm also no longer like acutely postpartum, one of the things that I did not really replace was nightwear. And so I've just been wearing like nightwear that doesn't really work. And I told this story to Ted and I was in tears laughing, telling it, because I am very particular about what I like. This should not come as a surprise to you or to anybody listening.
No shit.
Very particular, like length, fabric, color,
texture.
How does it feel? Yeah, texture. What are its wash and dry settings? Like nothing else that's dry clean only can enter my house unless it's like specifically for an event.
Yeah.
Particularly not nightwear. Like, what the fuck are you doing? And so I happened to see a nightgown in my size that I liked only on a mannequin.
Oh, got it.
Nowhere else. Like I like stalked and was like, where is it? Where are you? I want that. And of course, like as mannequins are meant to do, it's like in a trafficked area, in an aisle, like highly perceivable. You can see where this is going.
Yep.
And something about me is that I really, really love to be perceived when it's on my terms. And at any other time, I would prefer to like be an extension of the ground.
Yes.
And I had a decision to make, which is leave without this nightgown.
That's a choice.
Or I have to. Well, actually, there's three options.
I agree. I don't think this is a binary.
No, there's probably more than that. Listeners, if you can think of other potential outcomes for Weezy, please message in, tell Justin. Weezy could have done this instead. He loves that. I do too. It's our favorite. But the two that immediately came to mind was either like don't get the thing or like disrobe the mannequin. And certainly, like, I could have flagged down an employee and been like, can you take that off this mannequin so that
Or maybe look in the back. Do you have some of these new somewhere that aren't out on display?
Yeah, that didn't enter my brain at all. So here's
oh my God.
Here's what's happening is that I am disrobing a mannequin, but I am also trying not to be perceived.
Trying to be sneaky about it.
So instead, what I imagine it looks like is I'm like taking off a strap and then like
Just running and hiding.
and then this like gaggle of teenagers is about to walk by as I've like stripped the mannequin and the nightgown is like hanging around her ankles and I'm gonna have to like lift the mannequin up to because I didn't think about like, oh no, it should go over the top. I was just like, disrobe mannequin, like we gotta go.
Okay.
And so then imagine you're at the store with your teenage friends and you see this like middle-aged woman strip a mannequin, let the nightgown hang at her feet, and then run away.
That poor
And
woman.
like peer around the corner. Does anyone see me?
My God.
It took several minutes. And like the whole time I was like, this is weird. I hope I don't run into anybody I know. Like there's no way for me to explain this without one, bursting into tears, and two, looking insane.
What you didn't see was the dozen people in a back room gathered around the security cameras be like, no, here she comes again. No, don't go out and stop. Are you kidding me? This is amazing.
This is hilarious.
I think she just dropped and rolled under a display. Yep, she thinks she's hiding. Yeah, I can see her feet too. I don't know, man.
I can see her. Everybody can. Nope. So, yes, I was recounting that last night to Ted and literally like weeping, laughing.
Look what I did. Look what happened.
Look what I did. Look what happened. I bought a thing without speaking to anybody, and I was totally normal.
And it was totally okay. The person who came by a while later was like, why is there an undressed mannequin here?
Well, so here's the thing is
and then poor Marty got in trouble because he was supposed to be in
Right.
charge of the mannequins.
I then had the nightgown in my cart and am like going to leave, and I noticed like a mom with like a 3-ish-year-old son in her cart, like looking at the nude mannequin.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I don't know. It's weird.
that's
I don't-
crazy.
Why would they do that?
Why would they do that? That's insane. I have no way to know how that came to be. So
I once lit a mannequin show, as in a show of people would come and pick out the mannequins they wanted to buy for their store or stores or distributorship. So imagine, if you will, like 120 mannequins across 3 big rooms, all different sizes, all different shapes, all different. You're like, oh, like this must be like the athletic mannequin, and this is the big and tall guy mannequin. Like, boy, these mannequins have really pronounced nipples, and these mannequins have giant butts, and these like every shape and size of mannequin. I spent several days pointing lights at mannequins to make them look like good mannequins, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a niche thing.
It was a weirdo thing.
I can't imagine a lot of other people can say that sentence.
It's true. It's even within like people who point lights at stuff for a living. I don't think that kind of thing comes up that often.
That's really niche. That's
Yeah.
really niche.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was a weird one. We did it.
Yeah. We did it.
Yep,
We did it.
got cleared.
Check. Cleared. How are you? Now that I've regaled you with my tale.
I mean, better now. Better now that I heard that.
Yeah, I thought you
good.
would
We're
be.
going to do a little, like, we're not doing it on the weekend, but we're doing a weekend away, like Wednesday, Thursday, and a bit of Friday.
It's happening.
It's happening. We're going to Newport. We're going to see some mansions. We're going to have dinner near some really rich and stuck up waspy people and walk around a lovely town and just like hang out. I'm excited to get away for like a minute because we have a dog walker who's good with Baloo now. I'm excited to get there because it's a ferry ride. I mean, there's other ways to get there. You can drive, you can bus, you can blah, blah, blah. But there's a extremely reasonably priced ferry ride, and it just
Yeah.
rips across the bay, and it's like an hour or 70 minutes or something. And I can walk to the ferry. So it is walk, ferry, walk to the hotel, walk around Newport. A couple days later, go back to the ferry, come back home. And then we're
Wow.
into the 4th of July and doing some water fire stuff and all of that.
I love it.
Yeah.
That sounds great. That
I'm
sounds really good.
looking forward to it.
Yeah. Um, you can probably perceive this. Um, at time of recording, we are 15 days from liftoff for
Mhm.
Weez. Liftoff meaning the long anticipated Peru into CrossFit Games
Right.
trip. And I am feeling like there is an extremely manageable amount of work to
Good.
do.
I know
Um,
exactly that point you're talking about, and it's a
yeah.
really nice feeling where you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, like,
Like,
I'm not done. There's still things
no.
to do, but
Yes.
I got ahead of what felt like an overwhelming pile, and
Yeah.
now it's very clear that even if a couple things go sideways, this is gonna be fine."
Right.
Yep.
Yes. Um, and we also have an opportunity to do a little bit of pre-testing on the scoring system that the
Okay.
games is going to use, like kind of some final like make sure everything is just the way it needs to be for QA.
Yeah.
Not access to any workouts. That is cloak and dagger. I won't see
Right.
that until I get boots on the ground. But like to make sure the user experience of
Right.
this thing that many, 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 many eyeballs are about to be on
Live.
is buttoned up. And Ted and I are going to be able to do that together and
Good.
also invoice it
Mhm.
together
Yep.
and separately. Um, and that's really cool because what I am proposing that we do, which we still have to chat about, but is get a sitter for several of the weekend days between now and when I
Mhm.
leave. And even with paying the sitter handsomely for that support, we will still make a good chunk of change
Yeah.
that will only help us. Like, if this final testing doesn't happen, it will probably make our job on site harder.
Yeah.
So, like, all right, sick. I get to work out the kinks and also get paid handsomely for it and also reap the benefit of it
Yeah. And
at game
well worth
time.
it. Like,
Cool.
testing that stuff, rehearsing it, shaking it, trying to
Yeah.
break it,
Right.
pre-visualizing everything you
Yep.
possibly can ahead of time. Like,
Yep.
it's only gonna save time and heartbreak in the field.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
And doing it with Ted, who I like enough to spend 13 plus years with. So
Yes. Acceptable.
acceptable.
Yeah.
Acceptable, but only because we're being compensated.
Right.
That's the only reason.
Ah!
Yes. Justin, what are we talking about today? I haven't the foggiest.
I think I put it on a sheet somewhere. Anyway, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
Yeah. I don't
So, I called this, I like titling my stuff. I
know.
called this "Thin, Lean, Toned, Jacked, Snatched, Strong, and Happy."
Oh, I know what we're talking about.
So, heads up, we're gonna talk a lot about weight loss. If that doesn't work for you, if you don't wanna listen to people talk about weight loss, you shouldn't listen to this episode. I get it.
Mm,
Our feelings aren't hurt. It's totally reasonable. There's a reason we don't talk about it a lot, which is where we're gonna start with. But
yep.
this is essentially an episode about weight loss, not necessarily
Mhm,
how to do weight loss. So, go back to the other 50 something episodes if this isn't your thing. All right?
mhm,
Everyone's
mhm,
warned? Cool. Moving on. Um, we don't spend a lot of time talking about weight loss on here,
mhm.
really with our clients most of the time.
Nope,
Certainly in our like marketing, advertising, the socials, all of that stuff.
not at all.
It it basically never comes up, and there's a bunch of really good reasons. It's not
Mhm,
because it isn't important to people. It's not because people don't want it. It's not because both of us don't know how to do it quite well and very competently.
yeah,
Um, there is nonstop messaging around weight loss in the world, and that's been true for a very long time.
yes.
I found estimates that the quote unquote weight loss industry is ticking over like 130 billion a year just in the US. Just stuff aimed at weight loss. Um, Completely crazy.
That's crazy.
The the big giant problem is the why behind weight loss.
Right.
because what I'm bringing here is sort of that weight loss actually isn't the goal, slash, weight loss is a really bad goal because it's not
Yeah.
actually going to get you where you want to get.
Correct.
To be clear, we are not saying you shouldn't lose weight. Maybe you should, maybe you shouldn't. I don't know. I don't know who you are right now. But I'm not saying losing weight is a bad thing. I'm not
No.
saying wanting to change things about yourself is a bad thing. I'm certainly not saying wanting to change your body composition is a bad thing, which is a
Right.
term I think we should talk about. But
Mhm.
if someone comes to me, and I suspect this is true for you too, and they say the only thing I care about is losing weight, I will ask a few questions, but if we're
Sure.
still there going in that circle, I will say this really isn't going to be a fit. We're not going to
Yeah.
work well together. You're not going to have fun. I'm not going to have fun. It's not really going to work. I will try to find someone to refer you to, though most of the people I know, like, and trust probably also wouldn't take you on.
Right.
Sometimes
And
that,
here's why,
yeah,
without being like, you stupid idiot with your stupid one
exactly.
track goals, like how dare you be
And
only caring about this. That's not the way, but like we know ourselves enough to know that this, if this is the overarching goal, the end all be all that is important to somebody, um all parties involved are going to be frustrated in like 6 weeks.
exactly. Sometimes that little "I don't think we're a good fit" part is enough to jolt people out of their prison a bit. And I have had
Right.
occasions where that conversation is like, "Well, hold on, wait a minute. What do you mean? Like, I know you do this. I know you work with people. This person's in this shape or this person's in that shape. What are you
Right.
talking about?" And if they're
What do
interested,
you
we'll go
mean?
down it. I also don't want this to be like talking down my nose at people about, "You
Right.
fucking idiot. All you care about is losing weight, and if you're not skinny, you're not worthwhile." Like, it's not that either. It's
No.
really a big, complicated problem that gets masked in a lot of shame and a lot of manipulation because it's a
Yep.
very easy way to move people, which means it's a very easy way to get their money.
Yeah. Because if they're feeling vulnerable and full of shame, and you have this thing that can solve both of
Yeah.
those, where do I put my card?
And that's where, like, I started with those terms at the top, the thin, lean,
Yeah.
jacked, snatched, skinny, of course. Um, those get thrown out a lot without a lot of meaning behind them, and people
Right.
will hang on to it, often reasonably. Like,
Sure.
"Oh, well, this person or this influencer or this celebrity or this person I work out with at the gym is described this way or describes themselves this way. That's what I
Mhm.
want. I admire
Yeah.
that. I think that's good. That's what I'm after." And that's what they'll pursue. And if you
Right.
type in, like, "How do I get a snatched waist?" you will never get to the end of those Google results. They were just go on
No.
to
Forever.
infinity. The big question is really, why are we losing weight? And this could be, I want to make sure there's lots of people who want to lose weight and it isn't aesthetic driven. I think
Sure.
mostly, I think majority of people doing that is aesthetic driven, a high percentage
Mhm.
at least. But there are people who are going after a health marker, reasonable. There are people
Right.
who are after a memory. Well, I remember when I weighed X,
Mhm.
I was really happy and I liked this and I felt this way and these things fit and life was pretty good. That's what I want. So I'm going to try and recreate that by hitting this number on the scale.
Right.
The feeling is often what people are after. And I've had experience several times, not with my clients, but watching people go through a significant weight loss journey and
Mhm.
ending up not happy at the other end, like succeeding in it, which first there's some,
Right.
I lost my statistic. Actually, I pulled a Weezy. I had a statistic here. Some,
Ah.
staggering percentage of quote unquote weight loss attempts fail, like
Mhm.
above 90%, meaning
Yes.
either they don't work to begin with or within like under 3 months, everything is basically reversed course.
Right.
I think people have an idea in their mind what they want to feel like, and they equate that with what they want to look like. And that is so very often not actually a number on the scale.
Yeah.
Um, for many, many, many people, even if we're just talking aesthetics, setting aside health, setting aside performance, setting aside things like that, the body you're picturing that you would really love is likely a lot heavier than you suspect it is.
Right.
That is,
That and let's explain why that's
yep.
true for anybody who's listening to this and is like, that's bullshit. How could that be real? We've talked about in the past how muscle doesn't weigh more than fat, right? A pound of muscle and a pound of fat weigh the same. But a pound of muscle is denser. And so for people who want, like, call it a lean, shredded, jacked tank top arms and strong legs that you can see in shorts and a poppin' shelf booty, right? Like what that is muscle mass with a absence of significant fat volume. And that weighs more than the same person who is quote unquote skinny fat, right? Who does not have visible muscle tone. Like I'll use myself as an example, right? The day after I gave birth to Jack, I weighed 177 pounds.
Mhm.
I was a size like 14, 16, maybe, and was like 35% plus fat volume. I weigh 173-ish now
Yep.
and am 6 sizes smaller, and visibly more muscle laden. And if my only driving aesthetic, which was something that we talked about quite a bit while we were working together, while you were my
Mhm.
coach, if that is the only thing that I care about, I am setting myself up to fail.
Yeah. Yeah. You won't get where you want to go
No,
because you fixated on, and it's not even that, like, weight is an okay metric in a
sure,
sea of metrics that we're interested in the same
sure.
way, like pant size. Like, what you want is probably not a number on the scale. What you want is
Mm-hmm.
probably not a pant size. What you want is
Right.
probably, like, it's none of those things. It's a bunch of stuff together. And people can gain weight and feel significantly better. I mean,
Yeah.
uh I recently saw someone who I have not seen very often since I graduated college quite a while ago, and they said something like, "It's amazing you got in such great shape." I was not particularly out of shape in college. I was just like
Yeah.
some guy. I
Yeah.
am minimum 50 pounds heavier than I was in college.
Yeah.
Maybe 60, but minimum 50 pounds. But
Yeah.
I look very different and I'm shaped very different and I'm perfectly happy with the way everything is basically. And if you had asked me, I bet in college, like, "Oh, we're gonna have you gain 50 pounds and you're gonna like the way you look," I would have laughed. I'm like, "I don't think so.
I don't
I
think that's
I
true.
have some body image issues right now. I can't imagine how that would help anything."
Right.
Also worth, like, tiny timeout here. If you don't like yourself, nothing you do about changing your body composition is going to move that needle.
No, there
It's
will always be something else that you decide to hate.
You will hate it. You will never be done. It's not gonna work the way you want. Even if you're 100% successful,
Hmm.
you won't get there.
Right.
And working on not hating yourself is often a big part of making big, giant changes that will
Hmm.
take you to places you wanna go.
Right.
We had an episode where we talked about nervous system responses, that
Yeah.
fight, flight, fawn, freeze. Lots of those responses show up in emotional eating, for example, or show
Hmm.
up in how people treat themselves, or show up in how people move or don't move, or avoid
Yeah.
certain things because they think they're gonna be hard or make them feel bad or things like that. Some of that stuff, and some of what we're talking about likely involves a mental health professional.
Hmm.
Working on some of those nervous system responses can be important and can be part of that journey of also
Yeah.
getting the result you think you want. But, uh, I promise if you despise yourself without a six pack, you you will feel exactly the same way and have a six pack and be kind of hungry.
Right. Yeah. It's like we can't hate or shame ourselves into circumstances that we love.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, try that with a dog or a toddler.
If only.
we're
If
we're
only it was that
we're
easy.
we're not so far removed from that, right? Like it doesn't work.
And that's why when people come to us with these goals, or I talk to someone who wants to lose weight, I will if they give me specifics, I will try
Mhm.
and nail those specifics down as hard as possible, often
Sure.
with the goal of showing that it isn't real. When someone
Yeah.
says, "Well, I want to lose 15 pounds," the fuck did that number come from? What do you mean? How
Right.
did you get
Why?
so specific? What is that? So if I subtracted 15 pounds from you right now, you'd be happy. We'd be cool. You'd be done. Everything's good.
That's it?
If that's true, sure. But I strongly suspect that isn't true. So what is it? It's what comes along with that.
What
What
is
does
it
that mean?
what does that provide you? What does that mean to you? Why is that important to you?
Why is that important to you? What
Why
does
is
it
that
feel like?
important to you?
What does it get? How are you going to know if you're done? What if you said 15 pounds? Give me the things that means. Okay. If we could do A, B, C, and D, and you only lost 2 pounds, would that still be successful? I used to use this as a filter for nutrition clients all the time.
Yeah.
Tell me what it is. Tell me what you need. Okay, I
Mhm.
want to feel like this. I want to look like this. I want to feel confident here. I want to be stronger here. I want to be better at this. And I want what's his name who's at the 7 a.m. class to fucking look at me. Got it. If we could nail all of those things down somehow, I'm going to have a chat with this young man. We could nail them all down and you didn't lose a pound. Would it still be successful? And that was the binary question deciding, like if they got that far, it was probably the last question I was going to ask them. And that's the
Right.
binary question deciding if they're going to be a client or not.
Right.
Because if they say, no, I just want to lose those 15 pounds. I'm so
Like,
sorry. This isn't going to work.
I'm so sorry.
Because you don't actually want any of the stuff that would come with it. You've just gotten hyper fixated on a number.
Right. You are committed to chasing the thing that's not actually the thing, and I won't be a part of it.
No. And again, not because I'm mean and not because I'm too good
Not
for you.
not because we're mean, not because you're bad.
It's not going to
Like,
work.
it's not gonna work,
It
and
would
it's
be
gonna suck
unethical.
out my soul as a coach, and you're just gonna be pissed at me because I'm not giving you what you want. And like, I we've both run around this track enough times
Yeah.
that we know it doesn't go anywhere worth going.
You just said something that I think is really important and we should nail down. We've both run around this track enough times. Almost everybody. It is exceedingly rare to find someone who wants to lose weight who hasn't tried losing weight before. They
Yeah.
may or may not have been successful.
Mhm.
They may have tried a bunch of times over many, many years and had some
Mhm.
successes and some not successes, but they've
Mhm.
probably failed a bunch. I don't want to set anyone up for another failure, especially if that's going to reinforce some deep-seated shit for them that they're a
Yes.
failure and they don't have dedication and they aren't actually motivated and they're someone who they can't get in shape, they can't be healthy, they can't look the way
Right.
they want to, they can't feel the way they want to, they can't be strong, they can't show up with their family. They're really just fucking useless. I've heard people say
Right.
all of these things.
Right.
I will not deliberately be a part in setting someone on a path that is likely going to end there.
Yeah. No. Won't do it.
This also comes up with health stuff, which is a little less popular or maybe less talked about. Someone will come to me and say, I went to the doctor, I hadn't been to the doctor in a couple of years, and I got kind of a come to Jesus talk, and they did some blood work, and the blood work's really not good. They said I
Mhm.
need to lose weight. Okay,
All right.
got it. So you sound pretty motivated and maybe a little bit scared. Is that accurate? Yes. Awesome. How much weight? And it becomes the same conversation. Okay, what are the health markers we're moving? Is it
Yeah.
A1C? Is it blood pressure? Is it
Right.
the fact that you're getting winded going up the stairs and they're worried about that? Is it if you fall down, you might not be able to get yourself back up? Is it one of those things? We can't just if someone comes and says, "My doctor said I have to lose weight. There's all of this. My health insurance is going to pay for it. Please, coach, we just have to get going." I think it's still our job to say, "Hold on, hold
Yeah.
on, hold on, hold
Hang
on.
on. Hang on.
How are we going to know if we get there? And
Right.
also, what does that mean to you?" Because
Right.
if we take a client somewhere that they aren't happy to be,
Yeah.
it's losing weight is not easy, but it's very simple. Like it
Correct.
doesn't take that long with someone who's reasonably compliant to get your eye in, figure out what we're doing, manipulate some stuff, do this, do this, do this, do this. It'll
Mhm.
work.
Mhm.
But if we get there in a way that doesn't feel good and isn't sustainable and isn't a life and lifestyle that they're pretty happy to be in, the likelihood they're going to be able to sustain it is nearing zero.
Right. I wonder how many times you've heard, like, well, I did X and it worked really well. And then,
Yeah. And X could be fill in the fad diet or fill in the exercise trend
right.
or what, like I was doing keto and it was great. And I lost the weight and
I
it was
felt
awesome.
great and I had a lot of energy
Yeah.
and I lost the weight and I won $1 million
Yeah.
and I got the key to the city because of my weight loss. And then, life just got really hard and I put it all back on and more.
Yeah.
And so hoping that you can support me in doing keto again so that I can get back to the success that I had.
Exactly. Which sounds, and I'm sure there's people listening who are like, well, that sounds reasonable. You're a professional. They have the thing that works. They just don't know how to quite do it.
It didn't
Can't,
work.
can't you walk them through it? It didn't work. It didn't
It
work
didn't
because it
fucking
wasn't
work.
sustainable. It's not a thing that'll keep them going.
Right. This I wanna interject here because this brings to mind a specific conversation that we had not too terribly long ago about when I was coming back from being sick.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like, "Hey, don't be a dodo bird now that it's like day 2 of you feeling okay."
Mm-hmm.
And I said, "Well, I can play pickleball. I just might pay for it a little later." And you were like, "You can't play pickleball then." Like, you stupid fucking idiot. Like, if the I can do X, I just might pay for it later. You actually don't have ownership of X yet. You could put anything there,
Yeah,
right? Like,
exactly.
hey, dummy, it actually doesn't work if, like, it burns your house down after.
Yeah.
Like, try again.
Yeah. That's not, that's not going to work. I'm
You
going to
know
say
that's not
your
gonna
words
work.
back to you and watch the expression on your face. So again, like for health, like, yes, there are, and it's going to get slightly unpopular here.
Mm,
Losing weight is often an important part of better health outcomes for a lot of people, especially in the
sure.
United States with our current food health system. It's just a fact. We know that carrying
Maha.
significant amounts of extra fat is correlated with worse outcomes, health
Sure.
outcomes. It's not one to one, but the comorbidity is significant. Yes, BMI is a flawed metric for relatively well muscled, relatively fit people. It is a
Mhm.
useful marker for most people in context, not on
Sure.
itself, but it is a thing that makes sense in the same
Right.
way that what you weigh makes sense. Um, yes, of course, people can be attractive and strong and capable and happy at any size, shape, and weight, obviously. Yes, fat phobia is bullshit and extremely pervasive, especially in health and fitness. Like, there's
Yes.
a million fitness people make a very good living off of shaming people for being what they perceive as overweight. Health pros and fitness pros not listening to people who are overweight
Mhm.
is dangerous. I think we've all at this point had overweight friends, family, clients go to the doctor. It's that thing. I mean, this is like all women also have this story.
Like,
You show up, you're like, hey, my wrist hurts. And they're like, have you considered losing some weight? Like, motherfucker. Like, that's not why I'm here. You're not
right.
listening to me. Oh, it
Right.
sounds like you're anxious. Thanks. I'm pretty sure my
Thank
wrist is
you.
broken. I'm going to get a second opinion.
Right.
Also, I think incumbent on us to at least talk about GLP-1s here because they are, again,
Mm.
pervasive. GLP-1s at this point, I think it's reasonable to say, have proven to basically be a miracle drug for the right people.
Yes.
There's a bunch of stuff not good about it, including how much it fucking costs. There's a lot of people overprescribing it. There's a lot of scumbags prescribing uh, subclinical doses in ways that have absolutely no trials or proving behind them,
Right.
but it
Or
just
like
sounds good.
sneaky compounds.
Yeah, compounds made in places that aren't being tested and aren't approved, and who the fuck knows what you're actually putting in your body. But for the right people, it's basically a miracle. It can also change some health markers in a positive way. GLP-1 can, in a positive way, on this journey. A GLP-1 alone, not being tied to lifestyle, resistance training, movement training, habit stuff, is
Right.
not going to be successful for the overwhelming goals of most people who start them.
Right. Well, because I think we should spend a little bit of time here to help people understand why, who
Yeah.
maybe don't understand that, right? Because a GLP-1, whether it's a single or a dual agonist, its job is to slow down the process of digestion and suppress food noise, hunger cues, etc. Which for the person who has and has always had potentially insatiable food noise,
Yeah.
this is life-changing shit. However, for the person who, like, let's say has a ton of weight to lose and is only eating one scheduled meal a day and then is binging every evening and who is not intentionally building muscle, we start to lose a bunch of weight. A portion of that weight is going to be muscle. And then that tees us up for the eventual point when we taper off of the GLP. I'm now more under muscled than I was as an under muscled person before, meaning that the fuel requirement of my body, right? Because muscle requires fuel. You just shrank your fuel tank. And your hunger cues are likely to come flying right back in as soon as we taper off of a GLP. I have less fuel requirement. I am almost certain to put on more weight than I lost, right? It's just another diet, put it all back on cycle that is likely to convince the person that they are the problem. I am broken.
Mm-hmm. And even for people who, and this is true for a lot of people on GLP-1s right now, there's some advances happening, but right now there's lots of people who likely will never taper off of a GLP. Is a lifetime medication for lots of people. This is going to be fucking unpopular too. Losing weight on a GLP-1 is exactly like losing weight anywhere else. It's just being successful now. I think it's cool that it's being successful, but it is no different than losing weight in any other way. So you have, there's a bunch of people now, some of who probably should never have been prescribed this shit, some who definitely should have been prescribed this shit, who have lost a bunch of weight and are now under muscled. They don't have great bone density and they're not fueling. And they're not training, and they're not doing anything to reverse that. So now you are lighter, but also significantly more fragile. And that's there's people in their 60s, 70s, 80s who have lost a bunch of weight, walking around just ready to snap something. They're osteoarthritic, osteopenic, and it's dangerous because it hasn't been tied with training and movement and habits and lifestyle. Like, it's a miracle drug in that, we found the thing that can actually work for people that we've been trying for so long, but it doesn't stand alone, and it can't stand alone, which is frustrating. I wish it could. It'd be awesome. I'm ready for the fucking exercise pill. Don't get me wrong. Like, it can be like, I'm strong and I have good bone density and range of motion and I'm bouncy and I can do all the things I want to do. Yeah, bet.
Justin, did you know that you can just go to one of those like vibrating red sauna rooms for like 30 minutes once a week, and that is equivalent to 12 hours of training?
I'm sure the med spa down the road would absolutely like hook me up to something that is like, it's just like exercise.
Don't you feel the quivers?
Oh my God. It's so frustrating. There's two parts that I wasn't sure we would talk about. Well, you might cut this out.
Sure.
And I'm asking for your opinion on this.
Okay.
I had thought about going through some of those terms I listed, like thin, lean, toned, jacked, and at least like spelling out what I think people often mean by that.
Sure. Yes.
So I didn't write skinny because skinny sucks, and
skinny sucks.
Just means a little. Like it just. But let's say I think I wrote thin, right? So we had thin, lean, toned, jacked, snatched, and strong. Thin and I would love your input on this too, like see where I stray, but I had
Mhm.
it like small, light, and tiny. Like it's little for little sake, little and small is
Right.
better. This is an awesome place to hide disordered eating.
Yes.
Not all thin people are disordered eating, but staying thin uh, is an easy place to hide disordered eating, I guess is what I would say in that pursuit. There's certainly
Yeah.
a range. How does that
Yeah.
sound?
I would also say, like, thin to me means, like, prepubescent.
This that's what a great I hadn't written any of this down, but there's a huge, like, really ucky version of where a lot of these fashion icons and, like, beauty
Yeah.
standards come from that is repellent. And it is
Right.
to be clear, it is, male gaze at prepubescent girls.
Correct.
Gross. Ugh,
Gross.
I don't even like talking about it. Gross.
I'm sorry. I
No,
had to bring it up.
important. No, you should. I'm glad we did. It's important. After thin, we had lean.
Mhm.
Lean comes up more often in fitness wellness circles. That gets used
Yes.
a lot more often than thin, partly because
Correct.
lean is typically often used for people who have, let's say, a decent amount of muscle. They have some
Yeah.
muscle
Sure.
and then relatively less fat. So
Correct.
people who have visible muscles are often relatively lean. So you're carrying a lower
Sure.
percentage of body fat, but you would probably not be described as skinny. You're lean.
Sure.
These people
No.
often present as kind of quote unquote in pretty good shape.
Right. When I hear the word lean, I think, like, either a impressive long distance runner or somebody who
Mm,
does a whole bunch of Pilates, right? Like, they often have a genetic predisposition for longer limbs,
mhm.
and, like, you wouldn't associate somebody who is sturdier or stockier in nature as being lean, even if there's absolutely nothing that that person could
Yeah,
possibly do to change this, right? Like, I think of the genetic predisposition between my husband and I, right?
yeah,
He is 6'5" with significantly longer limbs. It takes him a tremendous amount of time, energy, effort, food, etc., to put on any amount of visible
yeah,
muscle mass. And so he kind of perpetually looks lean,
mhm,
muscled, but elongated.
yeah.
Whereas ya girl looks like a show pony who's ready to kick you in the face. Like, there is no universe in which you'd look at me and be like, "That's a lean person." Like,
Well,
mm-mm.
that's I want to keep going through these words, but that was one of the reasons I thought going through this might be useful. Because
Oh
same here,
yeah.
like if I got down to whatever 9% body fat, which sounds
Hmm.
agonizing, and I'm hungry thinking about it,
You'd still look sturdy.
nobody would ever call me lean. I would like
No,
it's impossible. I'm not going to get there because I'm
no.
built like a fucking house. So, and even like subtracting most of the fat, like I'm a less fatty house. That's just what it is.
Right,
There's no getting away
right.
from it.
Right. We're 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 still a brownstone.
Yeah, exactly, for sure. Yeah, I will
Okay,
never be thought
continue.
of as lithe.
No, blah, no.
Um, toned. Toned often
Mm,
gets used kind of interchangeably with lean. Toned for
yeah,
most people
agreed.
is visible muscle,
Sure,
kind of full stop. Like, oh, you have
sure,
quote unquote like shapely arms or shapely
sure,
legs or that kind of stuff. Like, that is toned. If you are toned, you have some visible muscle mass, most likely, kind of relatively lean.
sure. You know what really grinds my gears is people who say, "I don't wanna get bulky, I just wanna be toned."
Right.
Do you know that you are saying the same thing? I don't wanna get toned, I just wanna get toned. They're the same!
Well, and so much was like, well, how do you think about yourself? How do you feel about like and
Right. What
the
does what
same
does
person could
bulk
be,
mean to you?
well, I'm toned or I'm pretty lean or I still have some work to do in one direction
Sure.
or the other or any
Sure.
10 directions. It's not like there's only two
Right.
directions. Toned kind of moving along the line. Jacked jacked is usually kind of a little bit of extra muscle. Like
Sure.
it tends to get used more often towards men, though not exclusively. It's
Mhm.
most of these are intended to be positives in the right context or what people are going for.
Sure.
I think of it as like just muscle size.
Right.
Um, it tends to come more with upper body muscle, but like some noticeable shoulders or noticeable arms or that kind of stuff. Like looking jacked. Be very, very careful before you tell a woman that they look jacked. That may be exactly what they're going for. And
Right.
all these terms can cut both ways.
Yeah.
That may not be what they're like someone who is incredibly toned to your eyes, and you might be trying to be a bro or be fun or include them in the conversation or be like, hey, looking jacked, sis. You could just ruin their year. So
Right.
I mean, our
Yeah.
rule in general is don't fucking talk about other people's bodies, but
Right.
be very careful.
This reminds me of a graduated sustained client who was a very regular attendee of a commercial gym
Mhm.
until they dropped off because they had cancer and went through a very arduous
I
treatment
remember this person, yeah.
protocol and went back having lost a pretty significant amount of weight, but had a very good hedge of protection with muscle, which saved their life. Like their
Yeah.
doctor said, you're lucky that you were as fit as you were going into this because you probably would not have made it. Um, and going back to the gym and, the gym bros who'd been there all along saying like, damn, you're looking good. Like you've really leaned out. And like,
Motherfucker.
yeah, thank you. I almost died. How dare you? Like I actually would love to put on 20 or 30 pounds
Yeah.
and not feel like I look so sickly and be more capable. Oh, and also, would you like to see all of my scars too, since you're like inserting yourself into my own personal business?
Yeah. I remember a gym client years ago, we're still friends, they might listen to this, who it was like a CrossFit, so group classes. They were super
Sure.
consistent, 5 or 6 days a week. And I noticed, I was like, she's really lost some weight.
Mhm.
And I'm not like her mentor. I'm not doing any private coaching with her. So I wouldn't necessarily know, but that's noticeable. Like she's
Yeah.
really lost some weight. And I found a
Sure.
moment alone where I could pull her aside, like, hey, could I ask you a question? Yes. Are you losing weight on purpose? She said, yeah, I am. How are you feeling about it? I'm so excited. I've never felt this good. It's incredible. It's noticeable. Congratulations. That's
Right.
like I can count on one hand, I think, the number of times I've talked about someone's body
Right.
in a fitness
That
setting
it's appropriate to do
because I
that.
was worried. I was like, "Oh, are you sick or
Right.
are you not trying to do this?" Because I haven't like
Are
I
you
talked to
going through a
someone
breakup?
yesterday.
Have you
Yeah,
just lost your job?
exactly.
Did a parent or a loved one just pass away? Like, we have no idea what the cause for a weight loss or a weight gain could be, and it is just safer to say absolutely fucking nothing.
Yeah. I have another client also who might listen to this who was this isn't what they were training for, but they decided to do a fun kind of boudoir photo shoot.
Sure.
Awesome. Fun. Sounds like a good time. I think you'll feel good about. They were doing another photo shoot like 4 months before the boudoir photo shoot.
Mhm.
Photographer they like was like, "Hey, I'm doing it's not boudoir stuff, but it's like kind of cutesy modeling stuff. Would you be down for this?" He said, "Yes." And they started sending me weekly progress photos that they were also sending to their nutrition coach. They're working one on one
Sure.
with like some pretty detailed nutrition stuff with someone else. And after like 4 or 5 weeks, they said, "Hey, so looking at those pictures, do you think this is working?" Oh, that's great. I appreciate you asking that. I can't answer that question because
Mm.
you're the only one who can judge if this is being successful.
Yeah.
If you tell me there's things you want to work on, we can explore if that's realistic or what it would take to move that needle or things like that. But I have a long standing policy of not commenting on people's bodies because it's such a deep well and there's so much stuff that could be going
Right.
on. If I say like to the right person, your shoulders look amazing, for all I know, that person's like, man, this would be so perfect, except my shoulders aren't feminine, which I don't know what that is, but I heard someone say it once. And
Sure.
I don't want to reinforce something you feel bad about because my values are slightly different. So I'm just not going to say anything. And they were like,
Sure.
oh, so I guess you don't need these pictures, do you? I said, only if there's stuff you tell me you want to work on. Hey, I wish describe what you want your legs to look like, describe the time frame.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we can do something with that, especially
Right.
working closely with your nutrition coach. If that's important, then we could point out like, oh yeah, you can see this here and you can see this 12 weeks
Right.
later. This is
Yep.
working, but
Yep.
I'm never going to take a progress photo and say, and I'm honestly say anything.
No. No.
Where were we on the terminology? We talked about jacked,
We
extra
talked about jacked.
muscle size.
I imagine we could file yoked under the same
Yes, there's many of these jacked, yoked, exactly, ripped.
shredded, etc.
Shredded tends to be like jacked but super lean.
Sure.
There's versions here.
Like
Uh,
professional bodybuildery comes to
yes,
mind for me.
exactly. Like very visible, very big, maybe not
Like
very comfortable.
very, very veiny.
Yes, vascular bra. I've never understood the vascularity
I
thing.
don't want to yuck your yum. It's not my
No,
thing.
it is not my thing. I know guys, and so much of this is for guys. I know guys like it, but I don't know. Relatively newer term, snatched, which is
Mm-hmm.
generally, it's an interesting one for me because it's
Mm,
usually used in a
women.
female feminine context, but it's describing a V-taper, which used to be bodybuilding land. And
Sure.
the snatched thing, and I think this is important, maybe it's a useful thing for most people. If for whatever reason that's the look you want, it's not just a smaller waist. It
Right.
might be a slightly smaller waist, but you're actually after a V shape, which
Mm-hmm.
weirdly you will have much more success building upper body.
Right. Building shoulders and building glutes and
Yep.
building quads and building hamstrings
And
so
lat.
that we have that snatched hourglass shape.
Yes. Like just getting smaller and smaller or buying stupid fucking corsets, what
Yeah.
do they call them now? Waist trainers, same thing, just corsets.
Right. Sweet
Uh,
sweat.
yeah. And to be clear, none of those things change you. None of those things will help you lose weight. None of those things. I mean, they'll, in the moment, in the same way like Spanx or any compression garment it will change how you appear for a moment, but it is not
Sure.
going to actually change your body shape. When you
Nope.
take it off, you will be the same shape you were before.
Yep.
There have been corsets and waist trainers in the world that you are capable of getting tightened enough to change how your bones are growing.
Not
Don't do
helpful.
that. It's
Don't
real
do that.
bad for you and can lead to all kinds of horrific health outcomes. So don't do that.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The one I had on my list that sort of isn't always aesthetic, but often gets used that way is strong.
Sure.
And strong is incredibly relative.
Mm-hmm.
It's the only one I could think of on this list of that you might hear someone say, hey, you're looking fill in the blank. That was
Mm-hmm.
pretty much always positive.
Sure.
Hey, you look strong.
I might like to interject just a smidge here
Mhm.
because I have a hard time with anybody perceiving anybody else's body or passing judgment
Yeah.
on their body, even if it feels like it's positive, because particularly when we're thinking about the strong, not skinny
Oh, yeah.
craze, I have a really hard time with this because it implies that there is still a right and a wrong way to have a body,
Exactly.
right? Like you're looking strong. It feels really innocuous. But if somebody is not explicitly asking for that feedback, like it just still assigns
Yeah.
value and superiority based on physical presentation.
Yeah.
And implies that, particularly when we're talking about strong, not skinny, that skinny bad, strong good. What if I have a number of clients who have a predisposition to be very thin,
Yeah.
and it's
Same.
very hard for them to put on mass, and they are bending over backwards trying to build muscle.
Mhm.
And the movement has been hard for them because it's like I'm fucking out here trying, like, and I still am not right. I wasn't right when it was skinny was all the craze because I wasn't skinny in the right kind of way. I wasn't skinny in the posh kind of way. I was skinny in the malnourished kind of way. And
Yeah.
now that I am trying very, very hard to put on muscle and to build resilience, I'm still wrong.
I think that's incredibly well said. And that sort of underlies, honestly, this is one of those episodes I was working on that I trashed a couple of times. It's like, I don't know if I even want to walk down this path because it's minefields on both sides. And I don't care about, like, get mad at me. Tell me, like, I'm sure I've said some things that I've strayed slightly. I want to hear all of that. It's not that. I don't
Sure.
mind hearing from people, but I don't want to lead anyone down the wrong path. And kind of underlying all of this is that there isn't a right way to look,
Yeah.
but this steadfast tunnel vision on losing weight is probably at least misfocused or
Sure.
misexplained. That's probably not where you actually want to go.
Right.
And
That's where
again,
you think you might want to go.
yeah, losing weight may well be part of this. And yes,
Right.
if your doctor has told you you need to lose weight and these blood markers need to change or else your health is in significant danger, I'm on the doctor's side. Let's do it. But let's map out what the journey could look like and the other things that are going to come along with it. In the same way that if someone tells me the only thing they care about is getting out of pain, I'll say, oh, you should take drugs. Drugs are really good at that. You should take lots of drugs. Because that'll do it. If the only thing you care about is that, go ahead.
Is the thing.
Yeah. But you probably actually want a whole life as opposed to only being focused on this pain all the time.
Sure.
Let's explore what that whole life would look like. That's really what overwhelmingly people who are trying to lose weight are after. They're after a whole life, and it's a feeling, and it's an experience, and it's confidence, and it's all of those things that are so important and well worth pursuing. And we are both at least very capable of doing a big part of that. But it's not only losing weight.
It's not only losing weight. I think that's really well said. And I acknowledge that this is a difficult topic to talk about because it opens us up to criticism. It opens us up to misunderstanding. But I also think it's important because it's such a huge talking point of the health, wellness, fitness industry.
Yeah, exactly. And that is, it's, neither one of us is currently in the pockets of big pharma. But big pharma,
Nope.
I'm available.
RFK, if you're listening, hi.
And again, I'm not. I and we are perfectly fine with criticism and feedback and all of that. Like, don't hold back. You don't need to tell us we're only smart and we only said the right thing all the time. That's not the thing I'm after.
Only send it to the training partner's social media account.
Right. Because I'm the one who actually gets those messages. Thinking I won't pass them on instantly. I had mapped out if we decide that losing weight is going to be a useful part of someone's journey, how we would start. And then I lit it on fire and threw it out. Because I don't actually think it's so fucking complicated. Like, doing it even kind of well. Maybe we could do a different episode about, like,
it depends.
Maybe. But there's, even from the beginning of, well, what's the goal? It will radically change how we approach it. And if you're a nutrition coach who is like, I can help anybody, and someone shows up and you put them through the exact same protocol and the exact same measure, and you determine their macros the exact same way, you give them the exact same thing, you're doing a bad job.
You're doing a bad job.
You're bad at your job. New at this. You might
be better.
I'm sure you've had some successes, but you are setting some people up for failure. It's the reason we don't work that way is because we've seen other people get led astray very, very badly in the past. Stop doing that shit. Done really well. It's super complicated, and it may or may not involve macros at all, bro. They may never fucking come up, and that's okay.
Right. I'm glad you lit that on fire because I would have had some qualms if that's where this went. Like, Justin, hang on, pull it back.
I had like 4 pages written. I was like, well, I can't explain this. This is never going to work. It's not going to help anybody. And it's just 9 layers of, Well, it depends. Well, if then.
Justin's
Yeah,
5 if then maybe statements for if you would like to maybe lose weight.
we're gonna call it yes if slash no but, and that's just every single thing is
Yes,
infinite
if
branching
slash no
roads,
but.
like one of those like super complicated tabletop RPGs where there's a 9,000 part branching conversation that can go all these different ways. You're like, yeah,
Sure.
that's just like what conversations are like, bro. You're trying to nail down and write down what it's like to talk to somebody. Maybe you should just talk to somebody. I'm fine with
Maybe you
with
should just
gaming. I
talk
don't
to
care.
somebody. Yeah. Should we do a segment, do you think?
Let's do a segment.
This never before seen segment called Mythbusters is
Mythbusters.
really, really, really gonna kill you.
Understand.
I'm chuckling, folks, because there is Justin has seen this segment before.
At some point in the
Because
past, there was an unrecorded segment.
there's an unrecorded segment. So,
Allegedly.
ale- uh,
I don't
I
remember
mean,
it
there's
happening.
no proof.
There is
So,
no proof. There's no
but
proof it
it.
happened. Show me the files.
So I am going to read you a myth, and
Okay.
you are going to try to bring some actual fact into the mix. You are going to
Understand.
bust the myth.
Okay.
Okay. Myth. If you stop working out, your muscle will eventually turn into fat.
Oh, yes. Completely untrue. Muscle can't turn into fat, and sadly, fat can't turn into muscle. They're completely
Mhm.
different tissue types. What the reason that comes up sometimes is actually related to what we just talked about, interestingly enough, and that
Mhm.
it is possible to lose fat and gain muscle, and
Mhm.
in that process stay the exact same weight. So people
Yep.
have had the experience where they say, I'm still basically the same weight I was the whole time, but look how different I look. My fat
Mhm.
turned into muscle. And you do look very different and you are the same weight. You lost fat and you added muscle.
Right. Yes. And on the other side too, if you stop exercising, your muscle cells will shrink, which is called atrophy.
Mhm.
And at the same time, if your caloric intake remains the same while your activity drops, your fat cells will likely expand,
Yep.
which creates the illusion of conversion due to stopping training.
Yeah. Does everyone know that? Does everyone know you have a fixed number of fat cells and gaining and losing fat is your fat cells getting bigger and smaller?
I didn't know that until recently. I
Oh,
gotta
yeah.
be honest.
Yeah. You have
That blew my mind.
some very curious outliers that are here,
Yeah.
but you have the same number of fat cells basically all the time, and they get
Yeah.
bigger and smaller depending on how full they are.
Yep. Yep.
Mhm.
Myth. If you aren't sore or in pain, your workout was not effective.
Man, wouldn't it be cool if that was true? It's not
Mhm.
true. It's not true at all,
It's not true.
unfortunately. There's been lots of studies showing that soreness and effective workouts, let's call them, aren't linked. And it doesn't go either way. So you might be sore, especially from new stimulus, new protocols, new
Mhm.
modalities, if you're training something you haven't trained or haven't trained in a while. Like, oh,
Mhm.
I haven't done, whatever, heavy RDLs in a minute. And the
Mhm.
next day my hamstrings are lit up. You may or may not have had an effective workout, which whatever you're trying to
Right.
do, get stronger, add muscle, etc. It's just a new protocol. In the same way, you can have an incredibly effective workout triggering all of the results that you want, but not feel sore the next day for any number of reasons. And it has to do with training age and hydration and
Mhm.
recovery and lots of other
Mhm.
things. It's kind of a moving target. So being sore, unfortunately, doesn't really correlate with anything other than being sore.
Right. Right. Myth. Doing endless hours of cardio is the most effective way to lose weight.
It's probably the least effective way to lose weight. I mean, it doesn't, in that cardio doesn't, cardio
Water
and weight
weight.
loss basically aren't, yeah, a little bit, but cardio and weight loss are basically not linked other
Right.
than a very tiny amount of calorie burn. When people get tested, like hooked up to oxygen meters and all of that stuff
Mhm.
for the amount of calories that they're burning in cardio, it's a really low number. Like we're talking like 150, 200 calories over an hour kind of thing, which is,
Right.
that's an apple. Like you're done. Great. You had an apple with like a half a teaspoon of peanut butter or something. Cardio
Right.
is awesome at cardiorespiratory endurance, cardiac
Mhm.
health, letting you
Mhm.
do lots and lots and lots of other things. Cardio is super important, and I strongly believe should be a part of basically everyone's program to some
Yep.
degree.
Yep.
Separating that for most people from your non-exercise activity. Like for some people, walking is cardio. That's a fact.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you're relatively well trained, if you have kind of a higher training age, you should be walking for that non-exercise activity. You should also be including some cardio in your program,
Right.
most likely, if this is like health, wellness, longevity, etc. at all. Never mind performance for most people. Cardio should be part of that. So cardio is awesome. Cardio is important. The only thing that moves weight loss is a calorie deficit.
Right. Right. Myth. The more you sweat, the more calories and fat you are burning.
Man, as a sweaty fucking pig, this would also be totally cool. It's 91 degrees outside right now. I am going through 2 to 5 shirts a day, just sweating through them, just like, and not doing stuff like drinking
Right.
coffee,
Like
pouring sweat off my
existing.
body. No,
Dude,
it
I was sweating drinking coffee this morning. I was like,
mhm.
Ted, why hot? And he was like, because hot, Weezy. Also, happy anniversary. Ah,
Sun big, sun warm.
sun big, sun warm. Why hot?
Why hot, Ted? It's important to remember that we sweat for temperature regulation. It's
Right.
the same reason like dogs pant. No one thinks the dog panting is losing weight. I don't think. It is it's temperature regulation, getting some water down your body. If
Gosh.
you sweat a bunch, I used to do this in CrossFit classes in the summer. We had a gym that was not air conditioned and had like 2 fans. So
Yeah.
in the summer in the basement, it got muggy. I would weigh
Yeah.
myself before and after a CrossFit workout. I could totally lose 3 to 5 pounds in
Yeah.
a 45-minute
Totally.
session. Now,
Totally.
I lost 0 fat and 0 muscle. I
Right.
just, as a 230-pound guy, it like burning off 1% of my body weight in water weight is not that big a deal. Whoop,
Right.
and I would just do that. Um,
Yeah.
Also worth saying, so it's not true. Sweatsuits, etc., do not help you lose weight at all. They only help you lose water weight. So if you're in
Right.
a weight class sport and you failed your weigh in and you have 45 minutes to weigh in and be allowed to compete for an Olympic gold medal, put on a fucking sweatsuit and go to town.
Yeah.
Because what we're trying to do is get some water out of you to have
Yeah.
you physically weigh less for 60 seconds. And then we're
Mhm.
going to put it all back in you and bring you right back up to weight.
Mhm.
But sweating might mean you're working hard. Sweating might mean you're exerting effort. It certainly means
Mhm.
you're getting warm. That's usually pretty good, but it doesn't
Mhm.
really have anything to do with how hard you're working or losing weight or
Right.
burning fat.
It also definitely means that you are at some level hydrated.
Yes, that is a
Like,
thing to pay attention to. If you're someone who
yeah,
sweats a lot, and this often
you
comes up in like
suddenly
arid
stop.
climates. Yeah, you're
Right.
working hard and not sweating. That's actually a danger sign, and
Yikes.
you should get somewhere cool and shaded and start pouring water
Right.
and probably a little bit of salt down your gullet.
Right. That's one of the things that I'm keeping top of mind in Peru because I am a sweaty person as well. Like, if we get to a circumstance where I stop sweating, that's a problem and I need to take 30 minutes.
Yeah, exactly. But maybe worth
Yeah.
tacking on here. I know we've talked about this before, but the electrolytes lost through sweat is generally overrepresented. You're
Mhm.
welcome to all your electrolyte drinks. The benefit of drinking electrolyte drinks is that they're mixed in water. The water is the
Yeah.
benefit. The electrolytes, for most people, don't do a goddamn thing.
Right. I am actually and maybe you'll do me a very kind favor and make this into a highlight for me. I am drinking right now citrus salty electrolytes, which, as Justin said, the electrolyte itself is not really the game maker. I hate water, as we know from a previous episode. I could get rid of it. I could drink exclusively seltzer, Diet Coke, coffee, hot tea, flavored things. I could live my entire life without drinking another thing of plain water. However, you put half a packet, a salty flavored acid, citric acid situation into my water, and I will drink 2 of these in a day without even like batting an eye.
Yeah.
and they're delicious. If it's important to you, they have magnesium, potassium, a better electrolyte balance than some other offerings on the market. But what I like about them is that they don't support RFK.
Yeah, exactly. And that's for, a relatively affordable, relatively accessible thing. If that's the thing that's going to get 100
You to drink more water?
100 ounces of water
Do it.
down, great, do it. 100%. I'm
Do
on
it.
board.
Do it.
Yeah. In
But
the same way people are
if
like, "Well, I
you're
like seltzer." Great, drink it.
sick, do it.
I'm
Love
in.
it.
I don't
If
care.
it allows you to do more of the thing that we want you to do that makes your life better, you should do that.
Exactly.
um women shouldn't lift heavy weights because it would cause them to look bulky.
Yeah, completely nonsense. Women should lift heavy weights. Heavy is relative to everybody. Um, Women should lift heavy weights. Resistance training is really important. It's incredibly important for bone density. Being strong is really important. It's the thing that will let you do the stuff you want to do.
Mhm.
It is, as we've covered, I think, to some degree on this episode, it's really not easy to get quote unquote bulky.
Mhm.
0 people have ever gotten bulky by accident.
None.
There are so many people who are trying desperately to do it and failing,
Yeah.
including some pretty hardcore pharmaceutical help, and still aren't getting where they want to get.
Yeah.
You will not do 10 push-ups and suddenly have this massive chest. It takes
Right.
years and years of intensely focused work and honestly an intensely focused lifestyle. Like
Yeah.
you have to become laser focused on this and then it still might not work.
Right. And it's not even just like I tripped and I picked up 20-pound dumbbells and I pressed them overhead 10 times. Now my shoulders are yoked. Like, no,
No.
we need years of specialized, particular training and a consistent calorie surplus
Yeah.
and the right amount of sleep and a low stress enough environment to elicit the changes that we're trying to see.
Yeah.
Like,
It's a really intense protocol to get anywhere near what you're describing. And the benefits of lifting heavy are so overwhelming that
right.
it's a no-brainer.
You gotta, it's, you're not gonna pick up the 20s and become shredded. It's not gonna happen. Myth: doing hundreds of crunches or leg lifts will burn fat in that specific area.
Again, super bummer. Doesn't happen at all. It's usually called spot reduction, which means if
Mhm.
I do this, I will lose fat in this area. It is impossible. The only way to
No.
spot reduce is surgery. Surgery is
Yeah.
the only thing that can do any kind of spot reduction. Generally, people gain weight kind of in an order and
Mhm.
lose weight in the reverse order. And that
Mhm.
order is different person to person. And this isn't what I'm about to say is wildly oversimplified, but I gain weight in my face and then my belly and then my butt and then my legs. Now, really, it's happening all at the same time, but I notice it more in my face first. And I notice
Sure.
it more here. And if I
Sure.
reverse that calorie, if I start losing weight, it goes the other way. And then my butt and then my legs and then my belly. And the last thing to get skinny is my face.
Yep.
Everyone has that stuff. It's different for everybody, and there's not a goddamn
Right.
thing you can do about it.
No.
So, however, having a strong trunk slash midsection slash core slash abs and obliques, etc., is really useful and important.
Yep.
And uh, if for some reason you're someone who that visible abdominal muscles are important, having them bigger and stronger is going to make that a lot easier.
Right.
There are lots of benefits to doing core focused work. Losing fat in that area is not one of them.
Correct. Right. Myth: if you exercise, you can eat whatever you want.
I mean, no. Well, first of all, you can exercise, you can eat whatever you want. Full stop. Assuming
Period.
everyone listening
End
to
of
this is an
sentence.
adult, you can already eat whatever you want. What I suspect you mean is, oh, if I exercise, I can eat with abandon and like a real fucking asshole, and I'll still
Yes.
look like someone who is fit and in shape, or exactly what we talked about. Maybe I'll be
Right.
yoked or jacked or thin or lean or snatched or blah, blah, blah. No. Um,
No.
those require various degrees of sacrifice and work, often at
Mhm.
certain times through the year. People who are good at this and really successful, and it's really, really important to them. That's an important thing. Like this matters so much to them. Don't look the same way throughout the year, but they kind of
Yeah.
ride waves of like a little more and a little bit less.
Right.
Eating like an asshole will pretty much always knock you in a direction you don't want to go. I
Mhm.
mean, on a very regular basis. Like,
Mhm.
pizza night does not make you an asshole.
No.
Pizza night and breakfast and lunch and dinner and breakfast and lunch and dinner and breakfast and lunch and dinner. Now you're kind of eating like an asshole, and
Right.
no one feels bad if you're like, "Oh, I feel like I don't feel my most snatched right now." You're like, "Dude, that was 10 pizzas in a row." I mean, it's gonna be real hard to do the thing. Um, no, the people who you have in your mind that you're like, "Oh, they exercise a lot and they look great," the rest of their lifestyle does a lot of work supporting that. I would
Yeah.
even venture to say that the exercise is one of the least important parts of it.
Right. This tees up the last one really nicely.
Mhm.
Myth: more exercise equals better results.
Also, not only not true, but completely wrong. There's a minimum effective dose. We talk about this a lot with clients,
Mhm.
where if you don't do enough, it won't move the needle enough to kind of see the result in any kind of speed, right?
Mhm.
If you do one push-up a day
Mhm.
and you're already someone who can do push-ups, you are not going to get noticeably stronger, maybe
Correct.
ever. You might get a
Right.
little weaker. You need
Yeah.
more than that, more to get the needle moving. There's also a maximum effective dose. There's a
Mhm.
point where you've done the most you can do. Even if your schedule is completely free, you have amazing stress management, your diet is killer, you have infinite resources. There's a point where when you go past that point, you're now actually cutting into some of those results you've already built.
Right.
It might be filler, it might be junk volume, but you are now making it so it's hard to recover from or
Mhm.
impossible to recover from. You are doing damage you can't get out of your own way to prevent, and you are starting to actually move backwards. Sometimes
Right.
more is more. Remember, the no matter what your goal with it is, the only reason we exercise is to recover from it.
Right.
If you do so
Right.
much you cannot recover from it or parts of you can't recover from it, you've negated the benefits of
Right.
exercise and are actually digging yourself into a hole.
Right. You're moving in a direction, but it's probably not
Yeah.
the one you'd like to go.
Yeah, and this is people don't especially like there's a lot of people who we might have talked about this last time, who will like try and win at exercise. And sometimes
Sure.
these are very motivated people. Sometimes it's
Yeah.
just post breakup or they got a scare from their doctor or they moved somewhere or they had a life change. This is it. I'm going to lock in. I have 3 months and no one needs to talk to me and I'm going to go so hard. And they go
Right.
so hard and it's incredibly impressive and it's amazing. And they become a different person, but they can go too far.
Right.
And they can be someone who's like, and I'm sure you've had these people, I've definitely had them who are like, I don't understand, coach. I'm in the gym 7 days a week, sometimes doing 2 a days. I eat
Mhm.
completely clean. I never
Mhm.
drink a sip of alcohol. I'm
Mhm.
incredibly hydrated. I'm watching everything and the numbers aren't moving. My performance isn't moving. I'm not getting stronger. I don't love the way I look. Where else do you think I can fit more stuff? And the answer
Oh,
is what you need to
yeah.
do is cut 5 sessions out of your week immediately, and
Right.
you are going to feel so much better if your your nervous system can manage you
Right.
stopping and sitting with your own thoughts for a minute. And that is a
Right.
whole talk in and of itself.
There's a whole can of worms
Yeah,
there.
the whole
I
thing.
think I think that we talked about this maybe offline,
Mhm.
and it's maybe worth it to offer a little context here because I think it's important. And if we talk about it twice on the podcast, suckers, it's our
Yeah,
podcast. We do
we're
what
gonna
we
repeat
want.
ourselves a bunch. It's the thing.
A whole bunch.
Yeah,
There's like 12 topics to talk about, and we just slice and dice and
kinda,
prepare
yep,
them different ways. Welcome.
yeah.
This is Training Partners, the cooking show. Um, so I'm working with a client who has been on board for about 8 months at this
Okay,
point. No training history prior to this, like literally none.
cool.
They are postmenopausal, so they're past midlife,
Mhm,
and um, they are training with me in person 2 days a week, and they've come on as a nutrition habit client as well.
cool.
And they're seeing some really interesting shifts, most of which are not weight right? Like they're noticing that clothing fits different and that pain has gone down and they're able to do more at their very physical job that they've mostly avoided.
Mhm.
And the most recent one is they have had to buy new shoes because their shoes are all too big
Yeah.
now because the muscles in their feet have changed and they went down a shoe size. How
Yeah.
cool is that? Um, but they asked me very kind of like confused and maybe even perplexed recently and scared to come across judgmental, but said, "Hey, can I ask you something about a friend?" I'm like, "Of course. Yeah, I will answer if I can." And they said, "I have this friend who like fitness is what they identify as. Like
Sure.
fitness is a huge part of their life. They are in the gym for hours at a time. They're a member at a like mat-based dumbbell gym as well. And they go to a 5 a.m. class a whole bunch.
The whole thing.
Like they're always sore and yada, yada, yada. And this has been true for them for a long time, like years of consistent effort. And I know how they eat. And and I'm just kind of wondering, like, their body hasn't really changed in any kind of way in the whole spread of that time. And I'm wondering how that could be true. Like, this does not make sense to me that I'm in here for an hour twice a week and they are arguably committing like somewhere between 10 and 14 hours a week to their movement
Mhm.
and they look exactly the same as day one and their pain is the same and their ability to do stuff is the same, like nothing is different. How is that possible? I'm like, well, yeah, they're doing a whole lot of something. I would wager that they are not growing in what they're doing. I would imagine they go in and when they go to the gym, they do the exact same thing every time.
Mhm.
And I would imagine that they've been using the same dumbbells at the dumbbell mat class since the day that they started.
Yeah.
And so they're doing, remember, like we work for the opportunity to recover, meaning we work hard and do a little bit more every time. And we put the most into the hour that we commit 2 to maybe 4 times a week. And we get better in the recovery from that. If all we're ever doing is one, the same thing, and two, breaking down, we're unlikely to see progress. And it's going to feel really frustrating to that person because they're working really hard. And then she said, well, this is also a person who like has a lot of stuff going on for them mentally and emotionally. And so I think it probably is a way that they run off some of that. I'm like, yeah, so that's not helpful.
Yeah, if that's the
Like,
I does it sounds like none of it's working. I
right,
mean,
right.
like,
Yeah,
I would never diagnose someone with orthorexia or anything like that because I'm
right.
wildly unqualified to do so, but I have questions.
I have questions. I have questions. And it was such like an interesting and refreshing and curious conversation. Like, how how could this be true? Because this was what I identified as like the path to fitness too. And I remember when I onboarded with you and you said, yeah, we're going to train together once a week. And when you're recovering really well from that, we're going to add in a second session and being like, what? And we've seen incredible progress
Yeah,
and their recovery consistently this whole time has been the piece that we are more interested in.
100%. Yep, all the time. That is when people are wondering about why isn't the thing working or how does this
Yeah.
person work so well? It's like, oh, I want to know like how they sleep and what they eat and how often they
Right.
train. Not what they
Right.
train,
No, I don't
how
care.
often they train.
How often?
And I bet for the people that it's working really well for, I bet you would be shocked.
Right. Yes. Yes. What's your how much are you training these days?
3 to 4 days lifting and then
Yeah.
1 day just cardio.
Yeah.
So it's a mix of I think I told you I'm like beta testing a gymnastics progression program.
Yep.
So I do like a 30-minute piece of that. It's like usually some shoulder stuff and some primer stuff and some body weight stuff and some mobility
Mhm.
stuff and then
Mhm.
a couple of lifts.
Mhm.
I'm running once a week. I also I meant to tell you this. I started doing, I think inspired by you, our conversation about including Peloton treadmills in our dream home
Yeah.
gym. I started doing guided rowing workouts. I don't
Yeah.
think I've ever done a guided workout in my life. I don't think I've ever like had a video where someone's like, "All right, we're gonna do this on the bike." Or I'm not.
Yeah.
These are perfectly lovely people. I'm enjoying myself, but I did like 3 in a row, and the third day I was already like taping up all of my individual phalanges of my fingers because I hadn't rode. I was doing these 20 and
Right.
30-minute rowing workouts, and I hadn't rode for 20 minutes in a row in
Right.
a couple of years
Well,
at that point.
and you're sweaty, so there's like
So sweaty.
slippage.
Yeah, I'm slipping all over the place, and I've got these little calluses, but I'm like, "Oh, we're doing, like, intense stuff." So I've been throwing that in at the end of a
That's
couple.
fun.
That's a little bit of a bonus, or I cut something for
Right.
time. But
Yeah.
doing a couple of those has been a good time and a way to,
That's
like,
fun.
focus in on something for 20 or 30 minutes on the rower.
I love it. I
Yeah, how about
love it.
yourself?
I'm proud of you. That's
Thank you.
cool. So my training is not my favorite right now because I am like almost one track mind focused on the hike.
Yeah.
Um, I have a non-negotiable day of the week called boulders, which I'm going to be doing this afternoon before I go
Mhm,
play pickleball. Where it's 2 max effort sets of a bunch of upper body things.
mhm,
And that is really just to make sure that I am not atrophying. I'm not losing muscle mass that I worked really, really hard to build while not investing a ton of time
yeah,
into that, right? Like, okay, I have the ability to peel back the curtain and truly go to an uncomfortable failure. And I would much rather do that than spend 2 or 3 times visiting that muscle group
yeah,
because I don't have the time in my training week right now. There's that. There's also machine strength day, which is almost exactly the same setup,
mhm,
but it's full body focus and it's utilizing like all cable machines. And again, like the primary focus of that is I want to get as strong as I can and maintain the strength that I have worked really hard to build across years. And I need it to be super efficient. And
yeah,
so, like, yeah, would it be really cool to get back to some squats and some deadlifts and maybe an Olympic lift cycle, which I enjoy a whole lot? Yeah, absolutely. But I don't have the time in my training
yeah,
volume week for it right now. And it takes probably quadruple the time to like build up to a heavy pendlay row or deadlift than it does to do 2 max effort hamstring curl sets, right? Like
yeah, completely.
that's
I have
gonna
the
that's
same
gonna
thing.
take me
Like,
like 4 minutes all in,
I'm not
whereas
deadlifting
even
anytime soon because, like, it's
right,
20 plus minutes just to
just getting
appropriately
there,
warm up and build to a working set. Like,
right,
it's so much work and so much moving weight
so
around, and
much
I was
work,
like, it's I'm strong enough there, and I don't
right,
need it badly enough for that to take over the training day, which is what it would do.
right. And then I have one vegetables day that if I'm being honest, I've cherry picked for like 6 weeks in a row. Um, but I do like some intentional vegetable-y things before I
Mhm.
start playing pickleball because I don't wanna create problems in this period of time where
Yeah,
I'm mostly focused on my cardio, and then a lot more cardio than I would normally be doing, right?
yeah.
Like Peloton biking, going for weighted rucks around Sustain because we have a half-mile path here,
Mhm,
which is just, like, exceptional. Um, I went for a 6-mile hike with a friend yesterday. Like, just a ton more cardio than I prefer to do, and so I'm looking forward not just to the mountaintop experience, but also to, on the other side, reevaluating what do I wanna do, what's
yeah,
important to me, um, And of course, still in all of this, we're playing pickleball at least 3 days a week, sometimes 4. On weeknights, we're playing for like maybe 45 minutes to an hour. And then the weekend, sometimes we're playing for like 2.5. So we go,
Whoa.
it's great. I love it. Not continuous play, right? Like
Right.
play, sit, play, sit, play, sit. But looking forward to potentially a change of pace on the other side of this and deciding what do I want to do.
I know it's a very different thing, but I get that so deeply because I am mostly on the other side of my frozen shoulder vegetables,
Yeah.
and that was
Right.
almost all vegetables. So that's
Right.
why this is like a lot of stuff I want to do and a lot of stuff that feels
Mm-hmm.
good. The gymnastic
Yeah.
stuff it's all I usually like it, but it's weird
Yeah.
enough and I never know what it is. Like until I load the workout for the morning,
Right.
I have no idea what it's going to be. And there is
Right.
like a bunch of stuff in there. I'm like, oh my God, really? Okay, but I said I would do it. And
Fine.
occasionally I do stuff and it's like, oh, I thought this was going to be easy. I laughed at this and almost pressed complete and didn't do it. And I'm so glad I did it because this is a quad stimulus I didn't see coming with weird
Right.
bent leg calf raises. Um,
Right.
but that also is a little bit of a guard against me cherry picking everything
Right.
because that is someone else is deciding what it is. And it's
Yeah.
basically the first quote unquote exercises I'm doing in my workout. I have to get through those, whatever it is, before I get to the other stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna let the dust settle when I get back, but I am strongly considering doing Annie Miller's 52-week
Sure.
Built by Annie,
Mhm.
which is mostly marketed towards fitness professionals who like, yeah, you could do this on your own, but you don't want to.
Yeah.
Like you would like to offload this.
Yeah.
Um
Let me do
I
this. It's actually in waves. It actually makes sense.
right,
It's
right,
not 2.5 hours of programming.
right. I also know that a client asked if I'd be willing to run the Cap City half with her, which is in April of next year. And so
Oh,
that
sure.
probably means, I mean, we got plenty of time,
Yeah.
but like it would behoove me to add a run day now or like 3 weeks from now.
Yes. Yeah.
So,
Get it in at
um,
least, like, get that base volume to
right,
build on.
right. And what's nice about the timing is that I'll have a pretty good hedge of cardio to get into something like that.
Yeah. That'll be easy. And depending on, like, if the half is in April, I mean, I know you know this,
Yeah.
but especially with winter and all that, you probably want, like, an okay baseline by,
Right.
October, November. Because, depending on how you are on distance running on treadmill. I'm terrible at distance
Right.
running on
No,
treadmill.
hate it.
So, I
I
used to build up
probably
beforehand, so
right.
I would, like knowing I would drop a little bit and do other cardio in the meantime,
Right.
and then come, like, late February, early March, could, like, pick it up again.
Right. I probably for the winter will do some sort of like 4-pack at an Orange Theory type situation.
Mhm.
Like 4-pack a month, or there is the Orange Theory adjacent program that the commercial gym we attend has.
Mhm.
That is an upcharge, which I will have to justify to my um penny counting husband. So Ted, when you hear this, I'm considering becoming a signature member after the trip,
Yeah.
which is probably now. If I haven't mentioned this, maybe we could chat.
Yeah. And Ted, it's gonna be fine. Be cool, man. Come on, just
It's
be
gonna be fine.
cool.
It's gonna be fine.
Cool. Doesn't
It's
matter.
gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. It
What's the
doesn't
money for
matter.
anyway?
Money's not real.
Money's not real. It's all
Money's not real.
nonsense. What's the point?
Money's not real. What's the point? Anything else you think that we should say?
No, just end stage capitalism. I think we should go
Just
out on
end
end stage
stage.
capitalism.
End stage, did you see the thread that I posted about growing a value-based business in a capitalist hellscape?
Yes. Yep.
I I used
That's
that
what we're
term
doing.
in sustained but I also said in a end stage capitalist Republican hellscape and
Mhm.
decided like I don't want to summon the trolls on threads by including the word Republican.
No, they don't deserve it.
They don't deserve it.
No.
They don't deserve to be yelled at by someone with as good a feet as me.
No, half of those guys just have a humiliation kink anyway. That's all they're doing.
Right. No, you got to pay for that,
Yes,
motherfucker.
you should. Not getting it for free. You wish.
You wish. Team, this has been Training Partners. I'm Weezy Shoemaker. That's Justin McClintock. We'll see you next time.
Later, gang!
It's time for the training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners. We're ready to laugh and learn with our new best friend so bright. It's time for the training partners. Here come your training partners. So smart, so strong, so funny. Let's go with your training partners. We're ready to shine.